Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. ASP Audley Peters. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you, the media, to Comstat Room. But first of all, Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioners, Assistant Commissioners, a pleasant morning to all. Members of the media, today we are commencing the fourth quarter of our year in policing, and the Commissioner thought it wise to report on the previous quarter to you. And so we take this opportunity to thank you for listening in on his remarks, which will be forwarded to you by the email as well as recorded following this meeting. Should you have questions following his presentation, we ask that you put your hand up based on the system and your questions would be fielded. And thank you for your time here this morning. Commissioner, it's yours, sir.
Thank you very much, ASP Peters and members of the media. Thank you for joining me this morning. I've called this press briefing to give you an update on crime for the period January 1 to September 30th, 2021, as well as to give you a snapshot of how my 2021 policing plan has been working thus far. I assumed command of the force over a year and a half ago, and I have been privileged to serve in this capacity, having to navigate law enforcement during Hurricane Dorian and the novel coronavirus pandemic. The Bahamas remains in a state of emergency, and we must keep the faith that the Lord will bring us through these difficult times. As I indicated on my appointment, I'm only here for a season, and my allegiance is to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Again, I acknowledge the Almighty God in all matters, and I continue to seek His guidance for my life as I serve as head of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I would like to commend the courageous men and women of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who without fail continue to show up and work for the Bahamian people, regardless of how they may have been affected by either of the two major incidents. These men and women are committed to ensuring the safety and the security of all Bahamians, residents, and visitors during the most challenging policing period in modern history. COVID continues to have an effect on the force. For the period under review, 138 officers tested positive for the novel coronavirus. Currently, there are 6 police officers infected with COVID-19. To date, a total of 1,650 police officers and 284 police reserves have been vaccinated against the coronavirus. Regrettably, the coronavirus has taken the lives of 7 police officers and 2 police reserves. We commiserate with their families, and I would again like to proffer my heartfelt condolences in their time of bereavement and my gratitude for their outstanding service to the force and by extension the Bahamian public. They are Sergeant 1544 Vaughn Woods, Sergeant 1916 Marcus Molly, Sergeant 2125 Crystal Blatch, Sergeant 815 Nathaniel Bailey, Sergeant 2619 Kiran Dossett, Constable 2342 Everett Buchanan, Constable 3523 Tequila Lewis, Reserve Superintendent Real Store, and Reserve Assistant Superintendent Kipling Rolle. May their souls rest in peace. Ladies and gentlemen, we have realigned our strategies and resources to contend with 21st century law enforcement practices. We continue to invest in our human capital and other key resources to assist with the overall management of crime. We have trained 2,546 police officers in local specialized training, as well as 24 police officers in crime scenes investigations. These investments are important in our quest to transition into a learning organization where employee development and productivity are key. Additionally, we have made it our mission to recruit the best and brightest prospects from all Bahamian communities, with 100 new recruits comprising 5 squads currently in training. With these squads, we ensured that our family islands were well represented, having selected recruits from Eleuthera, Long Island, Cat Island, San Salvador, Inagua, Exuma, Andros, and the Berry Islands. The remaining recruits were selected from New Providence and included some 15 former police cadets, persons with specialized skills that could benefit the organization, persons with relevant academic degrees, and others who either possessed their BGCSEs or passed the entrance exams. All recruits met the requirements for enlistment and were selected based on merit, qualification, and suitability. The Royal Bahamas Police Force remains at the apex of law enforcement throughout the region. We continue to pace ahead of our Caribbean counterparts through our willingness to advance and integrate emerging technologies in our policing duties. We have modernized ComStat technology in a way to present detailed crime analysis for meaningful and strategic decision-making among commanders during our weekly ComStat meetings. Our real-time crime center engages multiple technologies simultaneously in an effort to intercept ongoing emergency 911 calls and assist with active investigations. Our expanded use of body-worn and dashboard cameras make us more accountable to the general public by determining police interactions with the public during serious incidents. Our upgrade of the shot-spotted technology allows us to track down and seize more illegal firearms throughout New Providence. Our use of the Marcos Alert digital billboards allow us to quickly disseminate and track down leads on missing children. And we have expanded our use of closed-circuit television to assist in criminal investigations and or intercept crimes as they occur. We are currently in the process of exploring additional technologies, such as facial recognition, license plate scanners, and artificial intelligence to enhance our currently technology infrastructure. Members of the press, as part of our humanitarian efforts and strategies to assist in the fight against crime, the force continues to partner with communities throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas using our outreach portfolios on the ground. These include, but are not limited to, 144 Neighborhood Watch Council groups, 10 urban renewal centers, and the National Crime Prevention Office. The force was recognized by the International Association of Chiefs of Police for our road safety priority in my 2021 policing plan, which included a highlight of the Safe Drivers Award program that originated from the Western Division, headed by Superintendent Dr. Chaswell Hanna. The July 2021 issue of the Police Chiefs magazine has recommended that the police departments all over the world adopt our priority as a best practice in road safety to improve their relationship between the police and the community. Ladies and gentlemen, Section 4 of the Police Act 2009 outlines the mandate of the force. Our current crime fighting strategies and policing initiatives seek to build safer communities through the public's support, participation, and assistance. Thus far, We have made steady inroads in fulfilling the objectives outlined in my 2021 Commissioner's Policing Plan as we embark on the fourth and final quarter of 2021. Our most notable highlight for 2021 thus far is a slight overall reduction in crime. The men and women of the force performed at an outstanding level to keep communities safe and provide police visibility throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas as a major deterrent to crime. This was coupled with daily operations that targeted hotspots and prolific offenders in an effort to offset and interrupt criminal activity. As a result of these efforts, we arrested 13,856 persons for various major and minor criminal offenses and charged 5,713 persons before the court. 11,019 persons were arrested in New Providence, 2,018 in Grand Bahama, and 819 in the Family Islands. We executed 558 search warrants and detained numerous persons on outstanding warrants of arrest. We conducted 658 road checks and engaged in 1,011 aggressive stop and search tactics to remove illegal firearms and dangerous drugs from the streets of the Bahamas. Notably, we seized 201 illegal firearms and 2,536 rounds of ammunition. We also seized 4,291 pounds of marijuana, 8,727 marijuana plants, and 855 pounds of cocaine. These drug seizures led to the arrest of 1,000 suspects, while 788 persons were charged and placed before the courts for drug-related cases. Due to our significant investment in training, we continue to see improvements in our case file preparation process, resulting in higher conviction rates. Our court returns thus far for 2021 stands at a 73% rate of convictions on all returns. 17% of the court returns were discharged by the courts, 1% acquitted by the court, and 9% were withdrawn by the virtual complainants. We have intensified our efforts to target problematic thoroughfares for speeders. We participated in radio and television shows aimed at educating motorists. We gave out flyers with safe driving tips. We did regular patrols of our highways and employed speed guns to monitor and crack down on reckless drivers. We issued 25,415 fixed penalty notices. Based on our road safety measures and strategies, we saw a 20% decline in traffic fatalities. I am in the process of acquiring the radar speed guns and jaws of life apparatus for deployment to all of our major family islands. We amplified our community policing message using our website and social media platform, talk shows, documentaries, public service announcements, literature, and seminars. We established the Cop Talk program to provide the public with internal workings of the force, as well as to add context to narratives of certain topics in social media about the force. Ladies and gentlemen, as a safety and security measure, we have discontinued the process of parading prisoners to court. This is a work in progress, and we look forward to seeing how best we can facilitate the flow of public information on arraignment to the media while taking into account the security and welfare issues of prisoners and police officers alike. I now turn my attention to crime. Preliminary figures indicate that overall, thus far for 2021, crime decreased by 2% when compared to the same period in 2020. Crimes against the person increased by 26%, when compared to the same period in 2020. Homicides. We investigated 87 incidents of homicide thus far in 2021 to September 30th, compared to 54 in 2020. There were 79 murders in New Providence, 6 in Grand Bahama, and 2 in the Family Islands. Victims between the age of 18 and 35 represent 66% of all homicides. Retaliation and conflict were the most common motives for murders, representing 55% of the total. Fatal gunshot wounds remain the leading cause of death, accounting for 75 murder incidents. We were able to solve 59% of all murder cases from January to September 2021. For the period in review, we investigated 317 incidents of armed robberies, compared to 218 in 2020. Armed robberies occurred mostly between the hours of 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Most of these armed robberies occurred on the streets, with business establishments and residents following close behind. Firearms continue to be the weapon of choice for the commission of armed robberies. We now look at sexual offenses. During the period under review, the Sexual Offenses Unit investigated a total of 131 cases. This figure represents a 13% decrease when compared to the same period in 2020, when there were 151 sexual offenses reported. These offenses include rape, unlawful sexual intercourse, and attempted rape. We reinforce the message to young persons on good touch, bad touch, and talk to them about sexual offenses. In addition, we remain vigilant, knowing that children were at home on the Zoom platform while their parents were at work. Therefore, we put resources in the communities and conducted frequent patrols in residential areas to ensure the safety of our children. The Missing and Exploited Persons Investigations Team continued to work with the National Trafficking in Persons Task Force. Thus far for 2021, there were 109 reports of missing persons throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. 69 in New Providence, 26 in Grand Bahama, and 14 in the Family Islands. 69 reports required no further action, where persons were found safe, and 40 cases remain open under investigation. For the period in review, we recorded 2,562 cases where domestic violence was a factor, compared to 2020, when 1,885 incidents were recorded. Domestic-related incidents include a relation to a family member, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, and/or friend in general. We look now at police-involved shootings. For the period in review, there were 11 incidents of police-involved shootings, resulting in 6 deaths and 5 non-fatal injuries. 5 of these cases are before the coroner's court, and the last one, investigators are doing the identification on that this morning, and will meet with the family after, and that will be forwarded to the coroner's court as early as next week. Crimes against the property. Crimes against the property decreased by 7% when compared to 2020. Stolen vehicles increased by 22%, with 209 incidents compared to 172 over the same period in 2021. Nissans were the most targeted vehicles of choice, representing 38% of all vehicles stolen. Residences continue to be the most targeted location. Cases of stolen vehicle were most prevalent in the Southwestern Division, which accounted for 25% of the overall total. 33% of all stolen vehicles were recovered thus far in 2021. Stealing from vehicles decreased by 30% when compared to the same period in 2020. House breakings decreased by 4% when compared to the same period in 2020. New Providence District accounted for 64% of all house break-ins, most of which occurred in the Eastern Division. Grand Bahama, including Abaco and Bimini, accounted for 21% of house break-ins, and the Family Islands accounted for the remaining 15%, most of which occurred in Eleuthera. Burglary decreased by 45%, with 61 incidents compared to 111 reports in 2021 by September 30th. Cybercrime, the cybercrime section processed 95 cybercrime cases, which included libel, hacking, extortion, computer misuse, and threats. This figure represents a decrease of 29% over the same period in 2020, when 134 cases were investigated. We believe that our messaging of cybercrime awareness as well as prosecution have contributed to this decline. Complaints against the police. For the period under review, we saw a 4% decrease in complaints against police officers by civilians, with 157 complaints compared to 164 in 2020. Of this number, 40 cases are currently under investigation. 40 cases involved a warning or civil action referral. 33 cases were unfounded. 22 cases are sub judice. 10 cases were withdrawn. 10 cases resulted in convictions, and 2 cases resulted in recompense. I will continue to review and implement policies to ensure the force is fulfilling its mandate. I am presently in the process of restructuring the force with the return of Assistant Commissioner Clayton Fernanda, who is charged with intelligence management portfolio. Assistant Commissioner Layman Delaveau, who is charged with the criminal proceedings and prosecutorial control portfolio. And Assistant Commissioner Kendall Strawn, who is charged with the operations management and tactical support portfolio. I am extremely pleased to have these assistant commissioners rejoin the senior executive leadership team as we continue to address the scourge of crime, drugs, and the proliferation of firearms on our streets. These men are well respected and hold a wealth of knowledge and experience, which will definitely be an asset to the team. Notably, Clayton Fernanda has extensive experience in criminal investigations and operations. Layman Delaveau has vast experience in policing throughout the force and prosecutions. Kendall Strawn has extensive experience in criminal investigations, both locally and internationally, where he is well respected. I enthusiastically welcome these honorable men to make a positive and impactful difference in our country as we rebuild and move forward. We remain committed to maximizing our human resources in addressing public concerns and preventing crimes at the neighborhood level in New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the Family Islands. Our germane function of protecting the nation is one very important to us. Equally important is the well-being of our officers. We will continue to prioritize the public and incentivize our officers to ensure that we are effectively executing the core values of the Royal Bahamas Police Force as they hold the front line. While we are working towards a better Bahamas, we are fully aware that there is still much work to be done on our part. We are prepared to roll up our sleeves and navigate our quest to create safer communities throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, members of the press, ASP Peters. We'll take a few questions, and my speech, members of the press, as well as the statistic package should be in your email now. If you check it, it'll be shortly after we finish here. You'll get a copy of this. Any questions? I think I see, was it? Yeah, I thought I saw 3 persons there.
Good morning, Commissioner. How are you?
That's for one.
Jasper Ward from the Nassau Guardian. My first question is
Okay,
about.
bring up, please, audio room.
Can you hear me?
I'm trying to get some more volume.
Okay. Is it better?
Room, could you? Okay, good. Go ahead, Jasper.
My first question is about that massacre that took place on Jerome Avenue earlier this year. You previously indicated that you had some individuals, some suspects in mind as it relates to that case. Can you provide an update? The investigations, has anyone been arrested yet? Are you guys close to making an arrest?
Yeah, we have, Jasper, don't bring me down, but keep her up. We have identified suspects in that particular incidents, and I have a team of officers who are actively searching for those. I do not wish to, as I said then, put that information in the public for reasons I've already explained. I do believe that a couple of those individuals had skipped town, and at least one is already deceased. But we will find them. They'll have to come back home to nest. When they do, we'll be there waiting. The next question.
My second question, has the Royal Bahamas Police Force launched an investigation into the issuance of questionable contracts by former Chairman Adrian Gibson?
That's not a matter for me, Jasper. You have to take that question elsewhere.
We'll take a question from the.
Hey, Jose Edson from Eyewitness News. Good morning, Commissioner.
Kyle?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Now,
Is it me or someone else?
Mhm.
Okay, Kyle Walker here, Our News. Commissioner Rolle, with the expungement of records for emergency order breaches underway, how does that impact the work being done by the police with issuing these citations? Or do you feel it's perhaps a waste of time now?
No, Kyle, if you've been following when the emergency orders were first put in place, ask them to turn my volume down, please, because I'm getting feedback. When we first began, you recall that the police were arresting persons for these offenses. I thought that that was a little too heavy-handed, and I had approached the competent authority to have the legislation amended so that we can issue tickets as opposed to arresting persons, and that served 2 persons, because once persons were being arrested and they go before the court, they were receiving criminal convictions. And the second was, it was exposing my officers too much and they were being infected. And so once we began issuing tickets, that took away the criminal element. And when I last addressed it, I said it is for the government then to make a determination with those persons that were convicted to have those expunged. So I don't see it as an affront. I think it is the right thing to do. And because persons had actually received convictions for those civil penalties.
And one more question from me. I understand just before the election, some police officers received a call that they were promoted, and then something happened and calls stopped. Any idea what happened to that list, or when it's supposed to be released? Any update on the promotion exercise?
Only one person can do promotion, and that is the commissioner. I didn't call nobody and tell them they were promoted. But I think that there was some information. But I want the police officers to hold on and hold fast. Okay, promotions will come, and I'll announce promotions soon.
Last
Okay?
question. Any update on the search for Rashard Cooper, who went missing on Abaco a few days ago?
No, I don't have an update on that. I'll get the update and let press give you an update later today.
All right, Jose, anything from Eyewitness News? Good morning. Yes, sir. As it relates to the missing persons unit, how active are they in searches? Because we've noticed that a lot of old men and now seemingly young men have been reportedly missing.
They're very active. We're doing investigations. We don't work miracles, but we are doing the investigations. We have to rely on information from members of the public. And a lot of times, what you must bear in mind is when persons are reported missing, the family come to us after, and we notice most of them are found. But we can only go on whatever information that we have. Sometimes we do not have sufficient. Sometimes we have some info, but it's not, if these individuals are moving, that makes it a little more difficult. But the unit itself is very active. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be speaking some more about that in short order. I had a meeting with the executives this morning, and we'll invite the media in a couple of weeks, and so that you could be a part. We want you to be a part of a new initiative that we'll be doing here.
All right, second of three questions. Now we noticed that there's been several crimes happening against young people, against children. We've seen an increase in that in recent years. So how do we look at perhaps preventing that and ensuring that there's better protection for our young people?
I addressed that already in my speech. You'll get the speech, just go over it and you'll get that answer.
And finally, we've also noticed that there's been a recurrence of gang and drug-related crimes. And how current are gang laws seen as a deterrent?
Oh, current?
Deterrent.
Okay, repeat your question. Give me some more volume in the back, please.
Yes, sir. So we've noticed that there's been an increase in murder and gang-related and drug-related crimes. And so are gang laws seen as a deterrent?
I couldn't say, but what I can tell you is that we are, I believe the media was invited here where we reinvigorated the anti-gang unit at CID, and along with homicide and armed robbery and our firearm investigations unit, we have been looking at those various gangs. We saw an emergence, an insurgence, whatever you want to call it, recently with these gangs and a spree of murders that we had. But if you've been following, you notice that we also been putting several of those persons before the court. As to the effectiveness or the deterrence, I don't know that I have sufficient data to answer that.
All right, thank you.
Okay. I think someone up there, Krishna?
Morning, Commissioner. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. You should
Okay,
lend me
good.
your mic.
Okay, my first question is, I was wondering if you could say whether the force has any time looked into allegations against former Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald, and if so, were there any substantial findings?
I'm not too sure I understand your question, Krishna.
Okay, so
The-
previously there was suspicion or allegations against the former Education Minister that in his
Allegations by whom? There was no allegation. There were a lot of talk.
well, there was
But
several reports around in the Tribune with documents, as
yeah,
well as
that's the
as
media.
well as in that in his post he solicited contracts for jobs, I guess. So we were wondering if at any time did the force look into this and were there any substantial findings?
As I said, I cannot comment on matters that were in the media regarding that. I'm saying, you could tell me who made complaint. I'm not aware that there was any formal complaint made by Jerome. As you've heard a lot of information being circulated in the media, and I think we need to be fair and be honest when we speak. A lot of people were saying stuff, but nobody came forward.
Okay, so there was no formal complaint in order for an investigation
That's
to
my
make.
response.
Okay, just making sure we're straight.
Yeah.
My next question is whether or not the curfews had anything to do with the decrease in crime.
Which curfew are we referring to now? Are you telling me that the work that these officers did day in and day out that didn't have anything to do with that? I don't accept that. You know,
Well, I'm asking because the curfew for a while.
why don't we look at the officers, Krishna, and the work that the officers have done. I've said that the officers have done a tremendous amount of work. I gave you the facts of what we did. I don't have anything what curfew did. Because curfew did not give me a report, but I gave you a report of the officers. Let's just focus on that. I can speak to that.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Rolle, Kyle here again.
Yes,
Sorry. I just
over
spinning back
time,
to
you know.
Jasper's question. I know, sorry, but still, spinning back to Jasper's question, you said the question regarding Mr. Gibson does not come under you. However, there have been calls for a police investigation. Just want to know, will there be one? Is there one? If not, why not?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person, Kyle. I'm saying to you that the police only investigate matters that are reported to us.
So it hasn't
I
been
don't have
reported.
any authority to go and dig into nobody's business unless there's a complaint. What I would suggest you do is I could refer you to the Prevention of Bribery Act. And if you look at that, the act tells you how complaints are initiated. And then that'll help you. I believe that'll be help you. I tell you the act where you can go and get that information.
My final question, Commissioner, you welcomed 3 ACPs back today during your remarks. Can you say why they were transferred back to active force after previously being transferred to some ministries, government ministries?
I don't think I understand your question. I brought them back. And I'll leave it right there. But what I will do is we're going to open the floor now and allow each of them a couple of minutes of my time. And they can have a say. I'll start with, is it Strawn in? Yeah, okay, Delaveau, we'd start with you. And then if you want to make a comment. None? Okay, Fernanda, any?
Yes, to God be the glory, great things he has done. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3 states, a good leader seeks the Lord, commits his way to the Lord, and the Lord establish my next steps. I am very pleased to be back in office to continue to serve my country with the support of my colleagues and indeed the Bahamian people. As mentioned by the commissioner, as with respect to the stats, the crime stats, you could see that the fear of crime is still out there. And we intend, as the commissioner mentioned, to be consistently out there. And in order to reduce the fear of crime out there, I believe, number one, the presence out there with the police have to be consistent. Number two, response time to crime. And once the presence is out there, the response time, either we will catch the culprit in action or we will catch them moving away. The third thing is follow-ups. That's follow-ups with members of the community, their complaints. You have to keep them up to date as to what is going on with respect to their complaints. Follow through straight to court and even after. So we're going to stay focused with that to move the fear of crime from the community. As mentioned again by the commissioner, crime committed by firearms, it is too high out there. And I will recommend to the commissioner that we should move back to the gun court, just to focus on the gun matters that appears before the court, because there's only police witnesses. I see no reason why within a week, once you're arraigned, within a few days, the matter comes up. There's only police witness in that. And I believe that could help and assist with that deterrent, with the presence of weapons out there, and to go after those individuals who continue to bring firearms in the country. So I want to say and end with this to the Bahamian people and also our commissioner, that Assistant Commissioner Clayton Fernanda in for duty. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Assistant Commissioner Fernanda, and ACP Ken Strawn. If you wish to make a couple of minutes of my time, you could do so now, and then we close out. There are you.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, members of the press. Certainly, it's a pleasure to be among you this morning. And I continue to look forward to being a part of this organization with the one desire: continue to serve you, the members of the public, working in collaboration with all to try to continue to bring about a safe community for each of us to continue to live in, work in, and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and members of the press, thank you for your time.